Namaste. Welcome to self-discovery and self-awakening session through Bhagavad Gita and meditation. Jai Shri Krishna. Happy Gita Jayanti month to all of you. And again, welcome to blissful journey through Bhagavad Gita and meditation. I am Satya Kalra, your host and happiness coach and founder of Path to Anandam. I'm so glad that we have been together, and today is the session 9, and during these sessions we are finding ourselves who we are. How can we experience our true nature, Sat Chit Ananda? And how we can get out of miseries, pains, and experience the ultimate potential of our life and enjoy our day-to-day life. So we have to rediscover our true being through these sessions. And our today's session is very similar. And actually the question came to me that I have been speaking about self-discovery and self-awakening. How about speaking about birth, death, and beyond? Because the brother's question is that I have been experiencing a lot of fear of death. How can I go beyond that? So our today's session is how to overcome the fear of death, understand what is birth, what is death, what is spirituality, what is spirit or soul, and what is the connection between body and soul. Because it's not just the fear of brother who asked the question, but it's the fear of all of us. In fact, this fear, this whole Bhagavad Gita has been giving us those wisdom, because at one time I had a lot of questions that why do people die? Because in the world, almost 50 million people a year die. That's what the study shows. And whenever we hear the death, or even the possibility of death for our near and dear ones, we totally freak out, get very depressed. And also, we also have a fear for ourselves. And Arjuna had the similar fear. And Arjuna asked the similar questions to his dear friend, Lord Krishna. Because when he faced the biggest calamity in his life, that he has to engage in the war where his family members are engaged, and he had a fear of losing them. And not only losing them, but he had a fear that they might get killed by himself, and also he might kill them. So Lord Krishna enlightened him with the wisdom and answer all of his questions, that what is death? Where do we come from? Where do we go back? Why do we keep coming back and forth in this world and experiencing the birth and death? So in today's session, we are going to answer some of these questions, and actually based on the Bhagavad Gita, I had written a book, one of my bestseller, which is, you can see it, it's Birth, Death and Beyond, Lasting Forever. Because I had lot of questions and many family members or some of my dear friends face the calamities in their life, and they asked me the questions. Thank you very much for sending your love and likes, and please share and forward this information to your friends, your loved ones, so we can all join together and we can all have this blissful journey of discovering ourselves and finding out who we are, where did we come from, where are we going to go from here, and how will we go back, or what is the purpose of our life and how to attain it. And today's session is how to go beyond birth and death, which is very similar to it, but here is how to go beyond the fear of death, how to overcome the fear of death. So actually, when we think about birth and death, then we all know what is birth. When you come to this word, it's birth. And actually, when people are born, when children are born, we celebrate. But when somebody dies, we feel very sad and depressed. And if it is our loved ones, then we go into the situation or we go through such a grief. So how can we get out of the grief while during those mourning period? So we are going to address some of these questions, but mainly we will start with how to overcome the fear of death. And Lord Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that instead of having the fear, we should have a faith. And faith in God, because this whole creation is created by God. We call it Creator. So how can we overcome? And as I said, the Gita, in fact, Hariharji Maharaj, my Guru, who is sitting on the left side, you can see his picture right there, Pranam to Guruji, and he is the one who guided us, and he had such a good quote which I want to share with you. He said, Bhagavad Gita is a spiritual guide that reveals the essence of self-knowledge and unfolds the secret of birth and death, and it teaches us the righteous living, the path of righteous living, but also it teaches us the art of dying. So it not only teaches us the art of righteous living, but it also teaches us the right of dying, how to die. So based on the Bhagavad Gita's teachings, as I said, I have prepared this Path to Anandam guide. I want to show you again. This is one of my bestsellers, and among my other 15 bestsellers. And of course, the teachings came from here. Also, that's a part of Bhagavad Gita, which is, as I mentioned before, my question and God's answers. So it's a combination of both books, and they are available at Amazon.com. So you can log on to that, and under my name, Satya Kalra. And they are also listed on our website, www.pathtoanandam.org. But please send me your questions, because I had many questions. This brother asked the questions, and you send me questions at satya@pathtoanandam.org and also info@pathtoanandam.org. So I will answer your questions during the sessions, as well as I will also address your questions in the following sessions. So please continue to send me questions, because that motivates others and it also helps others. Because it's not just your question, but many other people will be also asking for the same question. So what is the soul? What is this body? What is this death? And in Bhagavad Gita it says, the body is a moving temple, and the spirit or the soul resides in it. So the physical body is the foundation for life and means for action. Body is called the field of action, and the creator, the God, is known as the creator. And the spirit or the soul, it's the driving force which moves this body, which is like a current in the body. When it moves, we are alive. Once the current stops, we cannot move anymore. When the current, in other words, we could breathe. Like sometimes they put the oxygen on the face when somebody cannot breathe, and they put them on ventilator and they continue to survive. But once that current or the spirit or the soul leaves, no matter how much oxygen they put it there, they cannot breathe. They cannot survive anymore. So the current which flows in the body, which makes this body functional, that is the soul. That is called spirit. And it has a beautiful way Gita describes that the soul is the eternal. It's the eternity within ourselves. And there is a beautiful verse. It says, Nainam chidanti shastrani nainam dhayati pavaka na chainam kaldyantampo na shochati maruta. Which means this soul, this current, this energy in the body is fireproof. It cannot be wet, it cannot be cut. It is the fireproof. In other words, it is eternal. So, if it is eternal, then how could we die? Why it leaves the body? I used to ask that question all the time. Why do people die? Why will I die? Why can't I live rest of body is spirit is eternal, the soul is eternal. Why can't body be eternal? But the body is the one which goes through the changes. Like when we are born, then we go to childhood, then we go to young adult, then we become the adult, then we become the old. And when we become the old, then our body cannot sustain anymore the function of our daily activities. It gets deteriorated. And when it gets deteriorated, then what happens? Eventually, it loses all the energy. And it has to depart. That's why it is called the body is temporary. But the soul is the eternal. And it moves from one body to the another body. The soul moves from one body to the other body. It says beautifully again, there is a verse, Daino asmin yatha dehe, komaram yovnam zara, tatha dhyantar prapti dhiras tatra nam mohite. Which means eternal soul is going to move from one body to another through the path of death. Death is basically a disconnection of body and breath and soul. So, what is death? And it says death is a certain for all. There are few things this is a brief poem I put it, that death is certain for all. It is beyond our control. We have no control on death. In fact, we all know that we have come to this world with a return ticket, and we are going to get off from this train of life, but we do not know when. So this is the ultimately reality of life. However, it is the biggest wonder. Arjuna asked Lord Krishna, what is the biggest wonder in the world? And he said, the biggest wonder is that the people die every day. And when people go even to the funeral homes and feel sad, but when they come back, after a very short period of time, they forget that one day they will be dying too. So the biggest wonder of the world is that everyone dies, but we all forget that one day we are going to die. So Satya Sai Baba says, to assume a body is birth, and to cast off the same is death. And he also says that birth may not be certain for all, but death is. In other words, death cannot be avoided. Then the other question comes. We all face the death of dear ones. Then how to overcome the grief? So it says, understand the facts of life, that soul never dies, only body dies. But everyone in the universe is temporary, transitory, except our soul. So death is the final destination. The journey of the soul continues even after death. As when the child is born, goes through many stages, and ultimately we all grow older. It is also a garment. Body is a garment of the soul. And it is a temple of the soul. So it continues to deteriorate. So if death is certain, then why death happens? What are the causes? And how does this reincarnation happen? Biggest question. It's a little bit heavier to talk about it. Sorry. But basically, our karmas, when one dies, what does soul takes with it? Expressions, what is on our mind, and also the experiences which is defined as the karmas. So soul takes the karmas, and when it enters the next body, then the expressions on the mind and the karmas on along with the expressions, the memories, they all go along with it. That's why many times, sometimes people remember, like when the children are born, they talk about old things, but parents don't understand. And there is a beautiful story that there was one child who kept telling his parents that you are not my parents. My parents live in other village. It was a story it's not a story, it's a true story in one of the village in India. And he kept telling his parents. And finally, when he became 5 years, he was very cranky. And his grandfather decided to take him to the village which he was speaking about. And there he walks in. He goes straight to his home and he says, these were my parents. And he goes straight to the room where he used to sleep. And he points out, this is my brother, this was my brother, these were my parents, and I died on such and such a date on this accident. And when they spoke to the parents, they all confirm exactly what this little boy has been speaking since he started speaking. But nobody understood him. Finally, his grandfather decided to take him there. So in Bhagavad Gita it says, when the individual soul leaves the body, it takes its a different expression of the mind and the senses from the body to one body to another body. As the air takes the aroma, the smell from one place to another place. Like we experience during the spring, and sometimes we, without even seeing the flowers, but we could feel, we can smell the flowers, smell of the flowers, because its wind is blowing and it is bringing that beautiful smell. So then what are the causes? And again, Lord Krishna says, these karmas which the soul takes, they are created by our attachments, by our desires, by our angers, by our greeds. In fact, it is called 5 plus 2 enemies. So basically, those 5 plus 2 enemies are attachment, desires, angers, greed, arrogancy, jealousy, hatred. Whatever behavior we do during that time, whatever actions we do, all the expressions are in our mind, and they get stuck to our soul, and the soul carries them like as aroma to our next body. So basically it is a cause and effect. So this body, whatever we have, it is the byproduct of cause and effect, byproduct of our karmas. And it again, as Buddha said, life is suffering caused by desires. To end the suffering, we must end our desires. So how could we attain the liberation? How could we go beyond the shackle of this birth and death, since we know the causes now, since we have a little bit history here, little bit information that why we are born, why do we come to this earth, etc., and why we come back to this creation because of our karmas. So in that case, then how can we go beyond our birth and death? And again, Bhagavad Gita says, set the goal. Set the goal that I want to go beyond birth and death. And there is a verse in Bhagavad Gita which reads as that one who self as the supreme goal, so the one who sets the goal to go beyond birth and death, lives in the consciousness of that goal. As it says, whenever we want to set some goal, we must live in that consciousness, and every cell of our body should feel that this is the goal. So we have to live, we have to breathe that goal, we have to live in that goal every moment of our life. So we have to set the goal, and then we have to have some actions for it. And what are those actions? We have to live in that consciousness of that goal. And then also, when we do, then we have to go beyond these karmas, because we are programmed to do our karmas due to our desires, due to our attachment, due to our anger, due to our greed. So how can we go beyond this? So Lord Krishna again says, do the selfless service. And when we do the service, when we serve others, then gradually, little by little, we free ourselves from worldly desires, attachments, greeds, anger, jealousy, because when we work with others, we develop some love and compassion. As Satya Sai Baba says, love all, serve all. Help ever, hurt never. So we should work very sincerely with love and compassion for the benefit of the whole universe. Sarva bhut hiterata. And when we do that, we develop the compassion. But many times we have limitations, and we are still slaved of our anger, our attachments, because we live in a real world and it happens. So then Lord Krishna gives another tip, and he says, just practice the goodness, practice the righteousness. So when you see somebody, have some compassion in your eyes, have some compassion in your voice when you speak to others, and don't waste your energy of listening to gossips and thinking bad. Just think good, live in the consciousness and set the goal. And once you set the goal, and always practice. And once we start practicing it, and then also he emphasizes, he says, put some ceilings on the desire, because we are slaved of desires. We have too many desires. And he says, the more desires we have, the more our mind is scattered. So we should, if we have the desires, we should have the desires to live happily and succeed our goals and do all those things. But at the same time, we should have a desire to attain that goal and serve others. And then also, we should take care of ourselves. When we are doing the service for others, we have a responsibility toward our body. So we must do some yoga. We must do some exercises. We should do pranayam, the breathing exercises with the energy and with the breath. And also do meditation. And at the same time, we should also develop some virtues like attitude of gratitude, forgiveness. So it is a whole series of do's, or the tips are given here. And it says beautifully again, I use the word beautifully over and over because it's such a beautiful thing, so I just can't resist that. And it says, Devi Sampad Vimokshai, Nibandha Asurimata. In other words, when we develop these non-violence virtues, then we become better and better person. So our goal should be to become a better human being. And we should also meditate. Why we should meditate? Because the meditation is the surest way to liberation. And here we are talking about the liberation from birth and death, moksha from birth and death. And also, how could we live in the consciousness of that goal all the time? So one of the practices, of course, selfless service, and also we should engage all of our senses for the goodness. And also we should use our breath with the mantra. And Lord Krishna recommends, use the easiest mantra, because there are many, many mantras and good mantras, but the easiest mantra is Om mantra, A-U-M. A, Anandam, U unites, M, me. Anandam unites with me. So practice putting the Om in front of the nostrils and breathe with it. Breathe with it. And then once we have that practice, then he also explains that our heart gets filled with that Om mantra, and it gives the birth. Automatically, our heart is filled with love and compassion. And when love and compassion is there, forgiveness comes automatically. And then, but we should do all of our best efforts and let go. Can't just think about it that I'm doing so good and why I'm not achieving it, because once we set this goal, sometimes we come back and forth, and sometimes we feel good that we have improved, other time we feel we have not improved. So Lord Krishna says, just do your best and just let go. So once we do this, then he also promises. He says that many people have done this, they have achieved it, but he says, Man maya bhavmad bhakto, madhyaji ma namaskarum, ma me vishyasi satyam te pratijano priyosi me. It means once you practice all this, I promise you that I will take care of you. Man maya man bhavmad bhakto. So I promise you that I will take care of you. Even you get little bit off the track, I will hold your hand and I will not let you slide. So basically, we have a companion. So here, in summary, I would say, basically there are two paths. The path of light, the path of goodness, which gives us the liberation, and the path of darkness or ignorance, which takes us to bondage, which means birth and death. Continue to suffer miseries and pains. And it's not like birth and death, but basically the misery while we are living in this world, we continue experience that miseries and pains. And with this, it's not that we just attained the moksha from birth and death. We enjoy our life becomes so enriched, and we start enjoying it and experiencing the ultimate freedom from the miseries and pains, which is called Vishad, and we get that prasad, experience of Sat Chit Ananda. So the choice is here, like birth and death. So the whole journey of life is B to D, birth and death. But here the C is missing. And when we put that C stands for, we have the choice. So we should make the choices and set the goal and follow our actions, fulfill the goal, our life, to enjoy our life to the fullest, live righteously, do our karma and dharma, and enjoy. And finally, by practicing, when we die peacefully. And when we die peacefully, with the practice which we are going to do it in the meditation, we become one with God, which is called oneness with God. So mantra of the session is, I am beyond birth and death. And tip of the session is, I want to share with you, is that in my books, I have here is on the back of the book, there is a daily planner. And for 30 days, one practice a day. So follow the planner, and actually you can download this planner from my website. Once you go to the Path to Anandam, www.pathtoanandam.org, you can download that. So download that. And I want to share a nice poem from this book which says, but let's do the meditation first. So let's sit comfortably wherever you are and close your eyes gently, as long as you are not operating the machinery and also not driving. And take a deep breath. Hold it for a few seconds and breathe from your nostril and breathe all the way down to your stomach. Hold it for a few seconds. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. And now breathe normally. And with every breath, focus on your nostrils. And travel with the breath into your lungs. Just follow the breath. And while following, we are going to recite the Om mantra 3 times. So wherever you are, please recite with me. Take a deep breath. Om. And now visualize that with each breath, the Om mantra is traveling to your lungs. So with each breath, also recite the Om mantra and smile. You can say it loudly or you can say it silently. So Om in, Om out. Om in, Om out. Om in, Om out. Continue to breathe normally with Om mantra and feel that breath and Om mantra are reaching to the lungs, and from lungs they are traveling to the heart. And with the blood stream, is traveling to the all over the body. So feel the whole heart is enriched. Every drop of the blood is enriched with Om mantra, the divine power, the divine energy which is being generated with Om mantra, and traveling down to the body, to the stomach area, to the hips, to the legs, knees, ankles, toes, to the entire lower region of the body is enriched with Om mantra, the powerful energy, the Anandamayi Shakti. And it's also enriching the upper body, the chest area, the shoulders, the arms, the hands, all the way to finger, toes and nails. Enriching the back, the neck, the cheeks, the jaws, the ears, the eyes, the entire body is enriched. The forehead, the head of the clown, our crown area of the head. The entire body is enriched with Anandamayi Shakti. The pure healing energy is dissolving all the toxins in the body, the bad enzymes, biochemicals, and replacing with endorphins, the good chemicals, biochemicals like HDL, serotonin. The entire physiology of the body, all the physical system, digestive system, endocrine system, renal system, nervous system, cardiovascular system, respiratory system, all are enriched with Anandamayi Shakti. They are healing the entire body. And now this heart is filled with love and compassion. All the resentment and hatred is dissolved. It is enriched with forgiveness and attitude of gratitude. And see the golden light right in the middle of the eyebrows, in our Ajna chakra, the third eye chakra. So Om is situated in the heart, which is emitting the energy, the Anandamayi Shakti, throughout the body and also to the forehead region. And now uplift that to the crown of the head. You might feel some sensation, some tingling on the top of the head or some other places in the body. Just let go. Feel the presence of divinity, the Anandamayi Shakti, the relaxation, the serenity. And just repeat with me. I am beyond birth and death. I am beyond anger. I am beyond greed, attachment. I am beyond worldly desires, jealousy, hatred, resentment. I am Sat Chit Ananda. I am one with Supreme. Experience, feel the oneness with the Supreme Power, that serenity, the peace, the ultimate peace, which is another name of God or Supreme Power. Enjoy it. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Asato Mam Satgamaya Tamso Mam Jyotirgamaya Mritur Mam Amritam Gamaya. God, lead me from unreality to reality, from untruth to truth, from darkness to light, and from death to immortality. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace for my body, peace for my mind, and peace for the universe. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much for joining. And now rub your hands, put it on your head, massage your body, And then again, rub your hands. Make a cups and put it on your eyes and gently open your eyes. Thank you. So I would like to read a little poem for you from this book, and it says, I am here for a short period of while, and someday my body will die. But before it happens, I want to enjoy my life to the fullest and fulfill the supreme goal of my life: freedom from anger, fear, and selfish desires, freedom from my attachments and vices, freedom from the cycle of birth and death, freedom from miseries and pains, realize my true self. I am Sat Chit Ananda. I will last forever. So please share this information with your loved ones. And the topic for the next session will be how to balance our life. That will be one of the tools to experience our true nature and also enjoy our day-to-day life. So if you are looking for my books, they are at Amazon. You can go to Amazon, and I will be posting that in the comment section. And please also post your comments, your questions. Send me your questions and where are you logging in from. And also please subscribe to our YouTube channel, which will be posted, so then you can be informed for our upcoming videos. And also like our Path to Anandam page on Facebook. So thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful day, blissful evening, and blissful day. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.